Miriam was born different. From the moment she entered the world, her mother, Adis, knew something was amiss. While other baby girls grew into their bodies with the expected changes, Miriam remained flat-chested, her frame defying nature's design. At first, the doctors dismissed it as a delayed development, but as the years passed, the truth became undeniable. Miriam had a rare condition that left her without breasts. Growing up in their small town was cruel. Girls whispered, boys stared, and even some adults couldn't hide their curiosity or judgment. "She's cursed," an old woman once muttered in the market, sending Adis into a fit of rage. But no amount of shouting could silence the rumors, and Miriam bore the weight of them all. At home, things weren't much better. Her father, Chakudi, avoided discussing it, retreating into silence whenever Adis brought up their daughter's condition. "She will grow," he insisted, clinging to denial. But Adis knew better. She saw the way Miriam flinched when she caught her reflection, how she avoided swimming lessons, how she refused to undress in front of even her mother. In school, she learned to hide under baggy clothes, avoiding sports, locker rooms, and any situation that might expose her secret. The taunts were relentless. Half a girl, they called her. Incomplete. One day, during a biology class, a teacher explained puberty, gesturing to a diagram of a fully developed female body. A boy in the back snickered. "Not everyone looks like that," he whispered loudly, eyes flicking toward Miriam. The room erupted in laughter. She fled the class, locking herself in the restroom, heaving sobs that racked her thin frame. By 16, the pressure became unbearable. She withdrew into herself, avoiding friendships, avoiding mirrors. Depression loomed like a storm cloud. Then, one evening, her mother sat beside her, holding her hands tightly. "You are not broken, my child. The world will try to convince you otherwise, but you must never believe them." But Adi's words could not drown out the cruelty of the world. One day, Miriam overheard a conversation between her father and an uncle. "She may never marry, Chukudi. What man wants a woman who cannot even look like one?" That night, Miriam lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. If even her own father doubted her worth, what hope did she have? Thoughts of ending it all crept into her mind like shadows, whispering that she would never be enough. But something in her rebelled, a stubborn, desperate spark that refused to let the world win. She poured herself into her studies, refusing to let the whispers dictate her future. By the time she left for university, she had learned to walk with her head high, to dress how she wanted, to embrace her body. She found friends who saw her, not her differences. But university came with new challenges. Miriam's body, different from other women's, attracted attention not just from men, but from women too. Some assumed she was androgynous, some saw her as an enigma. There were girls who approached her, whispering that she was special, that she did not need to conform to society's definitions of femininity or masculinity. "You don't have to force yourself to be like them," one girl, Chioma, told her in a hushed voice one evening. "You could be free with us, you." At first, Miriam did not understand. But as time went on, some of these women tried to convince her that she belonged with them. That since she was not traditionally feminine, perhaps she was meant for a different kind of life. She struggled with the attention, confused and uncertain. She had spent so long fighting to prove she was whole, that she was a woman despite her body, and now there were those telling her she did not have to be. It felt like another battle, a different kind of pressure, a different kind of expectation. One night, a girl tried to kiss her at a party, mistaking her silence for consent. Miriam recoiled, her heart pounding. "I am not what you think I am," she said firmly, pushing the girl away. From then on, she made her stance clear. She would define herself on her own terms. She was not going to be shaped by others' perceptions, not by those who ridiculed her for being different, and not by those who tried to tell her she had no choice in her identity. She would live as herself, Miriam, strong, determined, and free. Her university years were a test of endurance. She faced loneliness, moments of doubt, and periods of isolation. There were days she wished she could be normal, but she learned to silence that voice. She found comfort in knowledge, in research, in proving to herself that her worth was not dictated by her outward appearance. After graduation, Miriam pursued a career in psychology, determined to help those who struggled with self-worth and identity. She knew what it felt like to be an outsider, to feel like the world had no space for you. And she wanted to be the voice that told others, "You are enough." Years later, Miriam stood before an audience, delivering a talk on body acceptance. She shared her story, the pain, the survival, the triumph. Her mother sat in the front row, tears streaming down her face. Even her father, aged and humbled by years of regret, watched with quiet admiration. As she looked into the sea of faces, she realized she was never incomplete. She had always been whole. And she had survived.
Like that. Like that.